Khensani Maseko was laid to rest in Johannesburg today. Her family and friends say her death must not be in vain. While someone who was there attending the service of the Rhodes University students is our Khayelihle Khumalo. Good evening, Khaya. It must have been quite a sad and somber affair.
Well, by all means, Vuyo, it was a very heart-wrenching experience. I mean, seeing so many people inside, the venue itself was packed to the gills, so many mourners, and some of them, they came as far as Grahamstown or in Makanda, right in the Eastern Cape. And the very message was very clear that there should be, a very lot of conversations in South Africa whereby men really understand that a no means no. If a woman says you can't do that, one cannot go ahead and proceed. So that was a main message that was just percolating there. But more importantly, most of the speakers, they were describing Khensani as this committed young person, 23 years old, but with extraordinary abilities of being able to command so many things and having been able to help the peers, right at the institution. And also, more importantly, seeing the mother also, her grieving as well. And there was a very quite profound message. If we can really take a listen to the message that was read by one of the relatives, Sandisa.
You were a model child, an inspiration to many of the kids in our family, amongst our friends, our neighbors. They all looked up to you. So today, I want to thank God for the 23 years He gave us to share. During this time, we shared rich and profound memories, and I will hold these dearly for as long as I live. I don't know how I'm going to carry on without you.
Now, Khaya, just listening earlier to what politicians had to say about her death. President Ramaphosa calling for a moment of silence, and then Julius Malema saying as the boyfriend must be blamed for her death, but so should the university, Rhodes University. What did whoever spoke on behalf of the university have to say?
The Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Mabizela, was present himself, and he delivered a very brief address. And the very just overriding message that he delivered there, Vuyo, he touched on the issue of raising a boy child, saying that, it's a societal issue, how a boy child is raised, for example, and also talking about the fact that, obviously the university is going through a very tough time. But more interestingly, there were some members of the EFF who were very quite patently clear in saying perhaps if the university was more proactive, this particular death could have been avoided. For example, they're talking about the laxity of the police in attending this particular case. And also, they went as far as saying that Rhodes has just been a coward in addressing these concerns, because this is not one particular incident. There has been an array of incidents reported before, but there hasn't been really a will or any just special program that the university has initiated to address these concerns. But also, it was very interesting to see that a lot of people, they were praising this young person, and they were saying, she was only 23 years old, but she was able to change the cause of history, as it were, in South Africa, especially because the gender-based violence has become a main issue. And also, one of the speakers also making reference to the effects that South Africa in its entirety is a crime scene.
Well, that was going to be my next point. Was earlier we played that clip from the police minister, Khayelihle, who was talking more really about boys and how we typically behave towards women and how we should deal with that, in fact, confront that reality as a nation. But other than that, what did he have to say about specifically the role of police and the role of the state in dealing with this scourge, that is?
The minister, for example, Vuyo, spoke about the 1st of August, where there was a massive march, shut down by the women and so many activists. So he said there were a comprehensive list of concerns that government was given. So on that basis, that's how they're going to act in making sure that now they will be able to work forward in charting a new blueprint that the government will be able to use in tackling this scourge. So, for example, with the summits that's coming towards the end of this month, he touched a bit on that, but also he spoke quite at length about, for example, how the parents do raise their children, for example, how there's always that sense of entitlement where a man will always have this way of throwing all sorts of words towards women and stuff. So also saying perhaps it's high time that the society also pause and really reflect. But also, obviously, there are so many proposals that have been made. For example, there are calls for special courts, for example, to be designed specifically to look at rape cases in South Africa, to make sure that the survivors of rape, for example, they are able to see the justice taking its course.
Okay, Khayelihle Khumalo, let's leave it there. Khayelihle Khumalo attended that service, of course, where the 23-year-old Rhodes University student, Khensani Maseko, was being laid, where she was laid to rest.